JUnit Advanced Annotations. Quiz 4. Quiz 4, question 1. The add parameterized test annotation is paired with which of the following annotations which provide information on from what or from where to get variable data? Answer 1. There are no paired annotations like that. Answer 2. You must pair this annotation with the add value source annotation. Answer 3. You must pair this annotation with either add value source or add null source annotations. Answer 4. You must pair this annotation with either add value source, add null source, add empty source, add null and empty source, add breaker, add enum source, add method source, add CSV source, add CSV file source, add argument source, or add class source annotations. Answer 5. You must pair this annotation with either add value source, add null source, add empty source, add null and empty source, add enum source, add method source, add CSV source, add CSV file source, or add argument source annotations. The correct answer is 5. You must pair this annotation with either add value source, add null source, add empty source, add null and empty source, add enum source, add method source, add CSV source, add CSV file source, or add argument source annotations. If you recall the complete set of these annotations we explored in lecture number 4, and we will explore it in lab number 4. That is something to memorize, definitely. Quiz 4, question 2. The argument as accessor parameter into a test method is best used in conjunction with add parameterized test and one of its companion add something source annotations under which circumstances? Answer 1. This class type refers to another advanced annotation, not to add parameterized test. Answer 2. It is best used when you want to provide accessibility criteria for your parameterized data types. Answer 3. It is best used when you want to minimize the number of arguments to a test method. Answer 4. It is best used when you want to use a functional interface as a parameter to a test method. Answer 5. It is best used when your test method returns a value. The correct answer is 3. It is best used when you want to minimize the number of arguments to a test method. And it's just an aggregator of these arguments. So instead of 50 arguments, you have one parameter argument of argument accessor type. Next is quiz 4, question 3. The add value source annotation can take which types of data as its values? Answer 1. It does not take any types of data. Answer 2. It takes only the Java lang string type. Answer 3. It takes only the Java lang object type. Answer 4. It takes only short byte int long float double char boolean Java lang string and Java lang class types. Answer 5. It takes only short byte int long float double char boolean enum Java lang string and Java lang class types. The correct answer is number 4. It takes short byte int long float double char boolean Java lang string and Java lang class types, and that's something to memorize. Quiz 4, question 4. The add repeated source annotation can be used for the following purpose. Answer 1. It cannot be used for any purpose. Answer 2. It can be used to repeatedly inject source data into a parameterized method. Answer 3. It can be used to repeatedly inject source data into a parameterized method and to run this method repeatedly. Answer 4. It is an enhancement over the add value source annotation, so it does the same thing but loops. Answer 5. It is an enhancement over the add argument source annotation, so it does the same thing but loops. And the answer is answer 1. It cannot be used for any purpose because such an annotation does not exist. Quiz 4, question 5. The add repeated test annotation can be used for the following purpose. Answer 1. It cannot be used for any purpose. Answer 2. It runs the test method the specified number of times in a row. Answer 3. It runs the test method until the JVM optimizes it to the specified timeout value. Answer 4. It runs the test method if and only if the test method is not parameterized. Answer 5. It runs the test method the specified number of times in a row and injects varied parameters from a at something source annotation it must be paired with, just like a parameterized test but repeatedly. And the answer is 2. It runs the test method the specified number of times in a row, and that's all it does. Quiz 4, question 6. The add repeated test annotation has these two parameters, value and name, or rather, you can call them parameters or attributes. Answer 1, true. Answer 2, false. The correct answer is 1, true. The add repeated test annotation indeed has these two attributes, value and name. Quiz 4, question 7. The add repeated test annotation can output custom text as a result of repeated test runs by using which constructs? Answer 1. It cannot be done. Answer 2. By using the value property with the display name, current repetition, and total repetitions placeholders. Answer 3. By using the name property with the display name, current repetition, and total repetitions placeholders. Answer 4. By pairing it with the add custom repeated test name annotation featuring the display name, current repetition, and total repetitions placeholders. Answer 5. By pairing it with the add custom repeated test value annotation featuring the display name, current repetition, and total repetitions placeholders. And the correct answer is 3. By using the name property with the display name, current repetition, and total repetitions placeholders, which allow you to vary the name of the actual repeated test iteration. Quiz 4, question 8. The repeated test.long display name value of the name property in the add repeated test annotation features all the three placeholder properties, while the repeated test.short display name value omits which placeholder property? Answer 1. There is not such value. Answer 2. It omits the running time property. Answer 3. It omits the display name property. Answer 4. It omits the current repetition property. And answer 5. It omits the total repetitions property. And the correct answer is answer 3. It omits the display name property. Quiz 4, question 9. If you use the repetition info class as an argument to the add before each, add after each, and or add repeated test, you would be trying to do the following. Answer 1. There is no such class. Answer 2. You would be trying to supply a custom description message. Answer 3. You would be trying to get these values programmatically in your method. Answer 4. You would be trying to get a handle onto the metadata for the unit test you are running. Answer 5. It would be both answer 2 and or 3. And the correct answer is 5. It would be both answer 2 and or 3. Next, quiz 4, question 10. If you use the repetition info class as an argument to the add before each, add after each, or add repeated test, you would be trying to do the following. Answer 1. There is no such class. Answer 2. You would be trying to supply a custom description message. Answer 3. You would be trying to get these values programmatically in your method. Answer 4. You would be trying to get a handle onto the metadata for the unit test you're running. And answer 5. It would be both answer 2 and or 3. And you will notice that question 10 is a total repetition of question 9. So I provided this twice. Great. My apologies. Next. Quiz 4, question 11. Can you do integration testing by using JUnit or only unit testing? Answer 1. You cannot do integration testing in JUnit. You need another testing framework for that. Answer 2. You can do integration testing by running unit tests in parallel. Answer 3. You can do integration testing by placing all your unit tests in order in the test class. They will be run in order and you can thus ensure their order and do integration testing. Answer 4. You can use the add test method order annotation to order the sequence of your unit test runs. You can apply this annotation at the method level and use the order property to set the order. Answer 5. You can use the add test method order annotation to order the sequence of your unit test runs. You can apply this annotation at the class level. And the correct answer is answer 5. You can use the add test method order annotation to order the sequence of your unit test runs. You can apply this annotation at the class level. If you want to do integration testing using JUnit, you will usually do it by ordering your unit tests in a sequence, and that is how you will do it. Answer 5. Quiz 4, question 12. How can you order unit tests by using the add test method order annotation? Answer 1. You can order your tests by using the add order annotation. Answer 2. You can order your tests by using the add order annotation and the order annotation.class value passed to the add test method and order annotation. Answer 3. You can order your tests by using the add order annotation and the order annotation.class value passed to the add method order annotation. And you can also use alphanumeric and random ordering. Answer 4. You can order your tests by placing them in order within your test class. Answer 5. You can randomize your unit tests by setting the JUnit.Jupyter.execution.order.random.seed property in the JUnit-platform.properties file, or as a JVM runtime property. You can order the tests alphanumerically in the test class. The correct answer is 3. You can order your tests by using the add order annotation and the order annotation.class value passed to the add test method order annotation, and you can also use alphanumeric and random ordering. Most answers to this question are partially correct. You have to be careful. Only this one is completely correct. Quiz 4, question 13. Can you roll your own custom order and by implementing which interface? Answer 1. You cannot do it. Answer 2. You can do it by implementing the method orderer interface. Answer 3. You can do it by implementing the ordered method interface. Answer 4. You can do it but not by implementing an interface by subclassing the abstract method orderer class. Answer 5. You can do it but not by implementing an interface but by subclassing the abstract ordered method class. You're gonna break a tongue on this sheer volume of text. And the correct answer is 2. You can do it by implementing the method orderer interface, which is exactly the interface that must be implemented for a custom method orderer. Quiz 4, question 14. How can you avoid having to manually reset instance values for your unit tests when running them one after another? Answer 1. You cannot do it. Answer 2. You can do it by annotating the class with add instance test annotation. Answer 3. You can do it by annotating the class with add instance test lifecycle.per_method annotation. Answer 4. You can do it by annotating the class with add test instance annotation. Answer 5. You can do it by annotating the class with the add test instance lifecycle.per_class annotation. And the correct answer is 5. You can do it by annotating the class with add test instance lifecycle.per_class annotation, so that each unit test method will not get a separate instance of your test class, but they will all share one instance of the test class. Quiz 4, question 15. Another aspect of unit testing is making sure tests complete within a specified amount of time or under that amount of time. How to do so with JUnit? Answer 1. You can do it easily. Answer 2. Use the add time value equals 100 unit equals time unit.milliseconds annotation, for example. Answer 3. Use the add time in value equals 100 unit equals time unit.milliseconds annotation, for example. Answer 4. Use the add timeout value equals 100 unit equals time unit.milliseconds annotation, for example. Answer 5. Use the add timed value equals 100 unit equals time unit.milliseconds annotation, for example. The correct answer is 4. use the add timeout value equals 100, unit equals time unit dot milliseconds annotation, for example, and you can use different time units. Next is quiz 4, question 16. Which types of methods can you apply the add timeout annotation to in the life cycle of a unit test? Answer 1. You can apply the add timeout annotation to methods annotated with add test only. I apologize, I misspelled annotated to annotated. Well, there should be a word like that, but anyway, answer 2. You can apply the add timeout annotation to methods annotated with add test at before each and at after each only. Answer 3. You can apply the add timeout annotation to methods annotated with add test at before each, at after each, at before all, and at after all only. Answer 4. You can apply the add timeout annotation to methods annotated with add test at before each, at after each, at before all, at after all, at test factory, and add test template. Answer 5. You can apply the add timeout annotation to any kind of method found within a test class, even private methods. The correct answer is 4, because answers 1, 2, and 3 contain that word only, which makes them incorrect. You can apply the add timeout annotation to methods annotated with a test at before each, at after each, at before all, at after all, at test factory, and a test template. In fact, if you look at the JUnit-platform.properties file, you will see also default settings that you can provide for each one of those types of methods. Alright, quiz 4, question 17. If you wanted to set sensible defaults for all your tests in all your test classes, how could you do it? Answer 1. You cannot do it because you need the flexibility. Well, if you wanted to set sensible timeout defaults, that's what this question means. Answer 2. You can do it by going to JUnit-platform.properties file and setting properties which begin with JUnit.jupyter.execution.timeout.star. Answer 3. You can do it by going to JUnit-platform.properties file and setting properties which begin with JUnit.jupyter.execution.timeouts.star. Answer 4. You can do it by going to JUnit-platform.properties file and setting properties which begin with JUnit.jupyter.execution.time.star. Answer 5. You can do it by going to JUnit-platform.properties file and setting properties which begin with JUnit.jupyter.executions.time.star. And the correct answer is 2. You can do it by going to JUnit-platform.properties file and setting properties which begin with JUnit.jupyter.execution.timeout, and then that star represents that there are multiple values related to different types of test methods and all lifecycle methods. Alright, quiz 4, question 18. If you wanted to write dynamic tests in JUnit, which annotation would then be your friend? Answer 1, the add test factory annotation. Answer 2, you cannot write dynamic tests in JUnit. Answer 3, the add dynamic annotation. Answer 4, the add dynamic test annotation. Answer 5, the add dynamic container annotation. And the correct answer is 1, the add test factory annotation. Quiz 4, question 19. And that's something you should know also very well. The method you annotate with the test factory must return which types of objects in order to be acceptable to the JUnit runtime? Answer 1. Any type of objects can be returned. Answer 2. It must only return a single dynamic node object, or only return stream, collection, iterable, iterator, all of them generified with dynamic node objects. Answer 3. It must only return a single dynamic node object, or only return stream, collection, iterable, iterator, all of them generified with dynamic node objects, or an array of dynamic node objects. It must only return a single Answer 4. It must only return a single dynamic node object. Answer 5. It must only return a single dynamic node object or an array of dynamic node objects. And the correct answer is 3. Test factory annotation gives you a broad set of capabilities. So what you return, it must only return a single dynamic node object, or only return stream, collection, iterable iterator, all of them generified with dynamic node objects, or an array of dynamic node objects. Of course, when we say dynamic node, we mean its subclasses as well. Quiz 4, question 20. Which is a true statement about the dynamic node object? Answer 1. There is no such object in the JUnit API. Answer 2. The subject is borrowed from JAX-B. Answer 3. The subject is borrowed from the DOM parser. Answer 4. The subject is abstract and cannot be instantiated. It has 4 subclasses for you to use. Answer 5. The subject is abstract and cannot be instantiated. It has 2 subclasses for you to use. And the correct answer is 5. This subject is abstract and cannot be instantiated. It has 2 subclasses for you to use. And the subclasses of the dynamic node abstract object are of course dynamic container and dynamic test. Quiz 4, question 21. The dynamic node class has 2 subclasses. Answer 1. False. It has 4 subclasses: dynamic test, dynamic container, dynamic link, and dynamic void. Answer 2. True. It has 2 subclasses: dynamic test and dynamic container. Well, since in the previous question I kind of gave it away, you know that the correct answer is 2. True. It has 2 subclasses: dynamic test and dynamic container. Except dynamic container is the container for dynamic tests. And the dynamic test is contained in a dynamic container. Quiz 4, question 22. Which is a true statement about the add test factory annotated methods? Answer 1. They cannot be private or static. Answer 2. Add before each and add after each annotated methods run only once for every add test factory annotated method, irrespective of the number of dynamic tests it emits. Answer 3. For each dynamic test, your test class instance fields are not guaranteed to be reset even if you explicitly reset them somewhere other than the dynamic test itself. Answer 4. Both 1 and 2. Answer 5. Both 1, 2, and 3. And the correct answer is 5. Both 1, 2, and 3. And that's I would encourage you to peruse this question a few times and the answers so that you memorize it. Add test factory is a very powerful feature for dynamic test, dynamic container, and dynamic test generation. That's something to know exquisitely. Quiz 4, question 23. How to produce the JUnit exception when running a method annotated with a test factory? Answer 1. There is no such way. Answer 2. Return a non-allowed type from this method. Answer 3. Return an object from this method. Answer 4. Return an abstract type from this method. Answer 5. Both 2 and 3. And the correct answer is 5. Both 2 and 3. Quiz 4, question 24. Will you need to import static org.junit.jupyter.api.dynamic container method before you can create a dynamic container? Answer 1. Yes. Answer 2. No. Answer 3. You must use this method, but you can import its parent object and use it as a fully qualified static method. So that's a tricky question. You have to read the wording carefully. The correct answer is 3. You must use this method, so that's understood, but you can import its parent object, just the dynamic container class, and use it as a fully qualified static method, which you can do. Alternatively, you can import the static method and use it in a standalone fashion without its containing class. Quiz 4, question 25. Will you need to import static org.jupyter.api.dynamic test before you can create a dynamic test? Answer 1. Yes. Answer 2. No. Answer 3. You must use this method, but you can import its parent object and use it as a fully qualified static method. Just as for the dynamic container method, having the answer 3, this also the correct answer is 3. You must use this method, but you can import its parent object and use it as a fully qualified static method. Quiz 4, question 26. How can you generate a random number of dynamic tests? Answer 1. There is no such way. Answer 2. Return a string. Answer 3. Return an object. Answer 4. Return an array. Answer 5. Both 2 and 4. And so the stream class allows you to add things on the fly, and that's the best way to generate a random number of dynamic tests if you must do so. Quiz 4, question 27. Add parameterized test and add repeated test as specializations of which annotation? Answer 1. There are not specializations. Answer 2. Add extend with annotation. Answer 3. Add test template annotation. Answer 4. Both 2 and 3. Answer 5. Add nested annotation. And the correct answer is 4. Both 2 and 3. And of course, add parameterized test and add repeated test use add extend with annotation and add test template annotation. Add parameterized test does so explicitly, whereas add repeated test does so implicitly. You won't find those annotations anywhere applied to add repeated test, but it works exactly as if it had those annotations. Quiz 4, question 28. In addition to add extend with, what is the third ingredient to implementing the add test template annotation? Answer 1. There is no such ingredient. Answer 2. Test template invocation context producer interface. Answer 3. Test template invocation context provider interface. Answer 4. Test template invocation context provider class. Answer 5. Test template invocation context provider abstract class. And the correct answer is 3. Test template invocation context provider interface. Quiz 4, question 29. If you want to have a compartmentalized test class, how would you go about doing so? Answer 1. You cannot do it. Answer 2. Use the add nest annotation for inner classes. Answer 3. Use the add nested annotation for inner classes. Answer 4. Use the add nest annotation for inner classes and set add test instance lifecycle.perClass. Answer 5. Use the add nested annotation for inner classes and set add test instance lifecycle.perClass. And the correct answer is 3. Use the add nested annotation for inner classes. Some of these answers are partially correct. You have to keep in mind some of them are totally off the wall. Alright. Quiz 4, question 30. How can you annotate methods in an add nested inner class with add before all and add after all and not have them run? So, and not have them generate an error during a run. Answer 1. You cannot achieve this functionality. Answer 2. You must annotate static methods with these annotations within your inner class. Answer 3. You must annotate instance methods with these annotations within your inner class. Answer 4. You must annotate static methods with these annotations within your inner class and set the add test instance lifecycle.perClass on your inner class. Answer 5. You must annotate instance methods with these annotations within your inner class and set the add test instance lifecycle.perClass on your inner class. And the correct answer is 5. You must annotate instance methods, not static methods, instance methods with these annotations within your inner class and set the add test instance lifecycle.perClass annotation on your inner class as well. Quiz 4, question 31. Your requirement is to have more descriptive unit test reporting, and you decide to use the add display name generation annotation to achieve this result. Answer 1. You must also concurrently utilize the add display name annotation. Answer 2. The add display name annotation, if used in the same method, will take precedence over the add display name generation annotation. Answer 3. The add display name annotation, if used in the same method, will defer to the add display name generation annotation? Answer 4. You must use the class method of the display name generator class with the add display name generation annotation. Answer 5. In addition to both 2 and 4 answers being correct, you can also set the name of the default test name generator in the JUnit.Jupyter.displayName.generator, the default parameter of the JUnit-platform.properties file. So this is a loaded question, kind of. So answer 2 is correct. Answer 4 is correct. And answer 5 is correct. Alright. Quiz 4, question 32. What mechanism can be used in JUnit in order to categorize unit tests? Answer 1. You cannot achieve this functionality. Answer 2. The add category annotation can be used for this purpose. Answer 3. The add schema annotation can be used for this purpose. Answer 4. The add tag annotation can be used for this purpose. Answer 5. The add class annotation can be used for this purpose. And the correct answer is 4. The add tag annotation can be used for this purpose. Quiz 4, question 33. If your unit test needs to write data to the file system, which annotation can be used to provide this ability? Answer 1. You cannot achieve this functionality. Answer 2. You can write to a directory directly by using java.new.file.path class. Answer 3. You can use the attemptdir annotation on a method parameter or an instance field of the types java.new.file.path or java.util.file. Answer 4. You can use the @writedir annotation on a method parameter or an instance field of the types java.new.file.path or java.util.file. Answer 5. You can use the @readWriteDir annotation on a method parameter or an instance field of the types java.new.file.path or java.util.file. And the correct answer is 3. You can use the @tempdir annotation on a method parameter or an instance field of the types java.new.file.path or java.util.file. Quiz 4, question 34. How can you declaratively register an extension into the JUnit runtime? Answer 1. You cannot achieve this functionality. Answer 2. You can use the @extend with annotation. Answer 3. You can use the @register extension annotation. Answer 4. You can use the @testTemplate annotation. Answer 5. You can use the @tempdir annotation. And the correct answer is 2. You can use the @extend with annotation. Quiz 4, question 35, which is the last question for this quiz. I know you're tired and lots of questions, but lots of questions means learning well. How can you programmatically register an extension into the JUnit runtime? Answer 1. You cannot achieve this functionality. Answer 2. You can use the @extend with annotation. Answer 3. You can use the @register extension annotation. Answer 4. You can use the @testTemplate annotation. Answer 5. You can use the @tempdir annotation. Well, we should not use the @tempdir annotation for registering extensions. The correct answer is 3. You can use the @register extension annotation.